I would look to seek out other people in other entertainment industries and figure out like what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it that way.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Connect Over Coffee. Today, I'm chatting with Nate Thompson, who is the co-founder of HTX Sports Tech. Nate, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for the invite to join.
Yeah, no problem. Now, before we jump into it, we were just talking offline a little bit of what the branding behind HTX Sports Tech came from. So now I'm curious. I need to know a little bit more about the story behind the name.
All right. So HTX Sports Tech, the colors and the wording. So obviously HTX is for Houston, Texas, where we're based, but then also like the three areas of focus that we consult in: health and wellness, technology management, and experiential. So that could be like anything from recovery and injury prevention under health and wellness side. On the tech management, it could be like content management systems or league and event management software. And the experiential is all like fan engagement, fan experience, AR, VR applications,
Yeah.
everything that's the athlete, the fan would experience within sport.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense now. I'm glad I asked. But yeah, before we jump into the convo here, Nate, we always like to kick things off with our 2-minute drill. So I'm going to launch a couple questions at you. Feel free to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
Got it.
All right, let's go. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Disagree for the moment here. But favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? Above the Rim. I can watch that anytime, every time.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite sports team?
Raiders.
Raiders.
Oakland
okay.
Raiders. Oh,
Oakland
Las
Raiders
Vegas
or
Raiders
Las
now, but
Vegas
yeah,
Raiders?
Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oakland has a little better history. Basically grew up with a huge Bo Jackson, Tim Brown, Marcus Allen fan. Got locked in around like that Techno Bowl scene.
No, that makes sense. Which city has the better food scene? Baltimore or Houston?
I got to go Houston. Was in Baltimore for a little bit of time and didn't really get the chance to. I was probably in DC more. That's probably what it was. So I didn't get a chance to hit a lot of good Baltimore spots, but been in Houston for 8 years now. So I think the edge goes to Houston.
Houston or DC?
Food scene, same question.
Same
still
question.
got to go with Houston.
Okay. Yeah,
I think
that's fair.
There's a lot of diverse foods here.
Yeah, that's
food.
fair. Being in both DC and Baltimore, I can understand that's fair. Choose Houston. Last question. Favorite song or song that gets you hyped every time you hear it?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I guess going with the Above the Rim thing, Pain, Tupac, like that starts off the movie, and then like that's been like every time I hear it, like that reminds me of everything happening in the movie and like that moment in time.
Okay, all right, I like it. I have to go revisit that then. Put it onto the playlist.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's connect a little further here. Started your career in ticket operations, collegiate side, and then also in the MLB. Talk to me about becoming the architect of your own career and why you decided to start your own company in the sports tech space.
Yeah, and I guess if I can, I'll probably start with how I got into the sports space originally.
Yeah.
So at Cincinnati, started off in civil engineering, so not even close to the sports business side of things. I wanted to do the design for bridges, buildings, all of that work. A year into it, wasn't doing well. Found out very quickly that wasn't the path I wanted to continue.
Yeah.
So I was able to get into the athletic department at Cincinnati, and then that role was in that ticket office, working with on the Olympic sports, the basketball games, football games, working with the donors, and then that just kind of continued over to working for a company in Miami called Complete Ticket Solutions, so like an outsourced box office company. Mm-hmm. So we would do everything there from building out the websites and managing customer service for phone calls and emails, setting up the barcode and scanners at the events, staffing the events, doing the financial reports after those events. That was everything from like Orange Bowl committee, Baltimore Orioles spring training, arts and music festivals all across South Florida. And then, yeah, just kind of getting exposed to that across all the different sports and entertainment aspects. Went deeper into that ticket operation space, and like as Major League Baseball was getting into the digital ticketing space, building out loyalty programs and other fan engagement, fan experiences through the application, just kind of continue to go down that rabbit hole of like what are all the things that are possible within the ticket operation space, but then also ticket operations kind of touches every department, or kind of it does touch every department. So basically, everybody needs a ticket to get into the ballpark, but it also relates heavily to ticket sales and service, to sponsorship, to your marketing and your communications team and your foundation team. So being able to see kind of how that one department touches everybody and impacts the whole organization, that was of interest to me to kind of continue to see how that business operates.
Yeah, I would
And
always
then,
say ticket operations, they're like the ultimate plug because they held the key to every single event there. So
yep,
yeah, it's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So yeah, the exposure to kind of yeah what you just said, like being the plug for everybody for everything that's happening at that venue, and then yeah, it's a lot of people's first touch point with whatever event or organization they're going to, whether it's on the college basis on or the Astros or Guardians. The first thing you do is go buy a ticket or go to the website to view or like what seats are available, and like being able to go through that ticket purchase or go to the box office window. That's your first kind of touch point or experience with the organization before you enjoy the game.
Yeah, definitely. And then, what made you decide to jump from that, being on the ticket operation and professional sports and touching all those different areas to really just go out and build your own company in that sports and tech space a little bit?
Yeah. So moved here from Cleveland in 2015. Yeah. And then was in the ticket operation side a year and a half in with the Astros after we finished our Ticketmaster to tickets.com transition. The ballpark app development moved into a project management role with the IT team at the Astros. And that was like a whole nother level of how does technology and data and analytics kind of work across the organization, whether it's finance, accounting, ticket ops, but also within the IT space and player development. And then being in that role, had a lot of vendors or potential partners and clients at that time reach out to present their emerging tech, whether it was like a software or hardware or whatever solution they thought the team could use. They would typically reach out to either myself or probably one other person on the IT team, of assuming that's the right avenue to go through. So being able to be exposed and kind of taking those ideas and figuring out how does this help our creative team? How does it help ballpark entertainment? How does it help
Mhm.
our player development R&D team? And be able to like get those calls, get those emails, get that collateral, kind of evaluate that, and then present it to stakeholders internally to figure out if there's a fit, and then what that looks like, kind of implementing whatever that solution is.
Yeah.
So then being able, or at that point, 2019, I left the Astros organization, but still wanted to obviously do the same type of work or still be involved in the sports industry, manage those or maintain those relationships and network and build out everything that we were doing with the Astros or with the Guardians or in Baltimore, and continue that to work with different founders in the sports technology space and help them figure out how do they find the right people within the sports organization, or are they really addressing a problem that the team needs them to fix, or are they
Mhm.
doing something that's cool to them? So starting to kind of get more into like evaluating, assessing those companies, but then also realizing I was like one of it was either the person or one of a handful of people within the organization that are researching or looking for emerging technology that we could bring in.
Yeah.
Assuming that may be the case for other teams and leagues and agencies that are, if we can create a company that helps vet those technologies, we have a good rapport and reputation with the stakeholders at the organizations, and they trust us. Of like Nate or Chris, or whoever it is, has a good idea of these are the things we're looking for. These are the things we need that are valuable for us. We can reach out to them and engage them to find those technologies and cut it from. We have 100 vendors reaching out. Let's use them to cut down to the 10 and bring those 10 to our door.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting, is specifically around how everything's evolving. And then I feel like sports are always kind of at the one of the first sectors that have that evolution take place. Real hot take question I just thought about right now. As a
Okay.
consumer, you're a consumer, hard copy ticket or still with the digital ticket? Which do you prefer as a
Um,
consumer?
yeah, I'm all digital.
Yeah, still all digital. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I like it. Yeah. I just had to ask. I
Yeah,
wonder if
no,
there was a separation there or not, but yeah, still digital. And it
no,
makes sense.
I think I used to. I think we used to like, well, even like trading cards, like collecting trading cards. Like we
Hmm.
would have the books and binders of like full of cards, and then like those were cool to have. But then also it's like just the ease of feel like I'm doing a sales pitch, but the ease of digital ticketing is like if I
Yep.
buy a ticket, I can have it in my phone and be able to walk into the ballpark or stadium in seconds, or I can transfer it to you and you can go if I can't go. That kind of thing is it's done immediately where I don't have to deliver it to you or send it to you or kind of hope you get the email with the PDF attachment.
Yeah, no, I'm completely on board with digital too. For just for those reasons that you mentioned. I was just curious because I used to real probably random, but I used to keep all the stubs to like games and everything as well, just
Yeah,
randomly. So, but the ease of digital tickets just makes it so much easier. So I'm on
yeah,
the digital side as well.
cool.
No, networking. It's a subject of a discussion, kind of a topic we always bring up because we every time we talk about it on Connect Over Coffee, we hear different iterations from people, what networking means to them and how they go about it. So Nate, tell me how
Yeah,
you go about building your personal network.
yeah, couple different ways. Within those like emerging tech things, I think one thing that I took pride in doing was like getting outside of the bubble of if I'm in Cleveland with the Guardians, and then most teams are looking at other clubs, so it could be the Braves or Dodgers. They kind of keep it within that Major League Baseball network. I would look to seek out other people in other entertainment industries and figure out like what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it that way. So I would do like random if it was somebody I didn't know, I would do like the LinkedIn messages and ask if they have like 15 or 20 minutes just to kind of catch up on something I saw that they were doing or accomplished and kind of why they went about it that way. If it's somebody that I have a relationship with, it's just kind of maintaining communication. It's sending her an email or a text every once in a while, like, hey, how everything's going, and then just kind of seeing where the conversation goes from that. Or if I have something I'm working on, it's like, hey, do you have a couple minutes to look at this thing that I'm looking at presenting for the host committee for something, and kind of get their feedback, get their engagement, but maintain those relationships and kind of keep them, um, yeah, as I guess I was authentic and kind of ongoing as possible and
Yeah,
consistent.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Authenticity of it. It's not
Yeah,
just a one-sided way and how you're going about networking there. It's being authentic reach outs. Like I thought that was a great example of you have working on a project, having another set of eyeballs on it outside of yours, or even your internal team on it, and being able to give advice
yeah,
from that point of view. That's very important there, and it helps with networking and building and getting different point of views from different things there. So, yeah, I love that the answer
yeah.
there. But
And
I
I think
imagine,
that's.
yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna add for that. Like, so even like the partner now with HCX, Chris, like we knew each other. He was the creative director with the Astros, but then I had one of the companies called Dot Dash that reached out around like a postseason engagement and sent it to him. It was like, how would you use this for postseason? Do you think it's valuable? How could you add like creative stuff to that? And I think that's how we got kind of closer on the business aspect of what are the opportunities to kind of build on what he's doing, but also like it comes through the channel that comes to me, include him in the conversation to kind of see what he
Mhm.
thinks and kind of see how it can be applied, and then we kind of continue that into HCX.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would imagine networking in your role and in many roles in general, it's probably like very important skill that you kind of have to always continue to build, correct? Just because in your role, you're networking with different people in the sports and entertainment industry. It's always about meeting new people and essentially business development in so many different ways. But how would you kind of quantify it, like the importance of networking specifically for your role?
Yeah, no, it's huge. We talk about it pretty often. Like it's especially in this industry, it's they're big brands, but they're small organizations. So they're like 200, 250 full-time people that work for an MLB club. And then people move from city to city, like I did, like from Miami to Baltimore to Cleveland to Houston. So that network is really, really tight. Like after a while, yeah, as people continue to move up and kind of move around the city or country for different opportunities, it's very important to maintain those relationships and kind of keep those going and keep those alive as much as possible. And like, and something you mentioned a few seconds ago making sure that it's not transactional,
Yeah.
making sure that like you're providing value. But if you're asking for something, you're also providing value in exchange for that, or at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so let's dive a little bit deeper here. In sports tech space and even the venture space here, minorities, as we both know, are not very well represented, especially it comes to
Right.
positions of power, right? So, in your opinion, why do you feel it's difficult to break in? And then once you are in, how are you able to bring others with you? It's a
Yeah.
loaded
Why is
question,
it?
I know.
Yeah. No. Why? Yeah. Why is it difficult to break in? I think.
Yeah.
Well, so through some of the work we've done through like the BSP network, it's a lot of students, and even like myself when I was going through like college, high school, and or college, just wasn't aware of the opportunities that were available outside of being the athlete on the field or being in a sales and service role.
Mm,
Didn't wasn't aware of like necessarily the marketing side or finance and accounting side or HR and legal side until I got to grad school and kind of saw all the wealth of opportunities that the alumni were coming from. Like, oh, that's something else that I might have had interest in earlier and kind of may have pursued if I would have known and or had people kind of help point me in that direction. So I think we're kind of getting to a point where that exposure and awareness is starting to shift and kind of being able to promote these are opportunities that are available across the sports industry. You don't necessarily have to go this sales and service route or be the athlete or coach route. And then the second part of the question, remind me.
Oh yeah, second part of the question is definitely once you're in,
Yeah,
how are you able to bring others? And like realistically, we just talked about exposure. How are you able to share your knowledge in this, what opportunities are available in this industry?
yeah. So we do that a couple ways now. So we did like a mentoring program about 2 years ago called Game Changers, where we got 8 executives from across the Rockets. We'll say, yeah, it was Rockets Premium Sales, Astros Analytics, CFO at Tag Board, and Analytics at the Texans. It was 8 executives, paired them with 8 students, and then did a mentoring program with them over the course of 3 months. And every 2 weeks, the students would rotate across the executives. So then they would have a contact and be able to get an understanding of what the role uh, Gemini at the time with the Rockets, what she did in premium sales, what Jay does with the Astros and analytics, what Nathan does with Tag Board at or does as a CFO at Tag Board. So they got exposure to multiple executives, but then we're also able to develop a relationship with that person.
Yeah,
Although it was like brief, there was a platform for them to still be able to engage and ask questions throughout that. A lot of it's done through the BSP or Black Sports Professionals and the Minorities in Sports networks, just kind of creating panel discussions, fireside chats, events to get together, kind of be able to introduce college students. It seems to be the focus, but expose them to like these are the wealth of opportunities that you can navigate and get into. And then most recently, we've done that through here in Houston with the Rockets. We did a career our second year doing the career fair with them, um,
nice.
effectively inviting 100 to 150 college students to a career fair where they get to meet or bring their resume, meet executives from each of the teams, but then also hear from a panel of the senior level executives that are across the venture side, across the Rockets creative team. Who else was it? Astro special events team and Honey Stinger, so one of the consumer packaged goods companies. So be able to
Yeah.
see like these are all 4 or 5 different areas of sports that you can get into with all very unique different focuses, but it's all part of the same community.
Yeah. And then even just kind of taking that a step further, what is that next
Mm-hmm.
step for that student? So let's just say I'm back in college, junior year in college, outside of the career fair,
Yeah.
because we know what the career fair is, but like these chats and everything like that. I'm a junior in college. What's that next step that I could take that even gets me in the forefront of even looking at these opportunities to almost essentially get my foot in the door? Like, what are those next steps that are available for students?
Yeah, it's kind of, or I look at it right now in 2 different ways. It's one, it's doing those information interviews that I do myself, or like I'll reach
Mhm.
out to somebody and kind of find out more about what they're doing and how they got there. But then also it's being able to get into those opportunities, taking on volunteer stuff, taking on part-time opportunities, getting internships with those clubs or organizations. So then you're getting the experience, you're getting compensated for your time and developing a skill set. So like we've been able to do that here also in Houston through with the Dynamo. So the last 5 semesters so far, we'll do another one this summer. Hire four, or they bring in 4 to 6 interns from either Texas Southern, Prairie View, UH, Rice, or
Mhm.
HBU to work in let's see, digital marketing, corporate sponsorship, ticket sales and service, stadium ops, or administrative like HR or finance.
Yeah.
And those are positions that they've created to bring in those interns specifically for the BSP membership.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, that's actually really
So,
amazing. I didn't know that existed.
yeah,
But
so yeah,
yeah,
to
it,
answer your question, I think it's creating a pipeline of opportunities to where like, yeah, you can download the knowledge and get the information, but then also go apply it somewhere.
yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean, I think about it when I was in college, right? I didn't know a lot of these things existed. I kind of lucked into it. I got hurt. I played sports in college. I got hurt my senior year.
Yeah,
Figured I'd take an internship somewhere. So I took an internship back home with a minor league baseball team. And I remember just saying on the interview, I want to do marketing because I was like, I'm a
yep,
business person. That's the only thing I knew. There's at least marketing in that department. And then from there, I didn't even get the marketing position. I got the ticket operations position, ironically enough.
gotcha.
Um, but from there, that's when I learned about like ticket operations, corporate development, corporate sales, partnerships, and different entities that are in the organization outside of marketing. But I
Yep,
wish there was something like, I don't think there was when I was in college, but BSP where I could have really like learned the different opportunities and the different teams that were available back then. So I love the fact that it is developed. It's been developed for quite a while now for up and coming students there. Yeah.
yeah. I think especially like what you just said, like all the teams and leagues and agencies that are out there and all the routes you can go. Like
Yeah.
I knew about being in Cleveland. It was like the Indians, the Cavs, the Browns, and that was it. But now also like there's the IMGs, the CAAs, the
Hmm.
Wassermans, the Octagons, CBS, or yeah. So like Warner Brothers has their sports discovery division. You have
Yeah.
all these other avenues that you can go down. But yeah, you have to have somebody. You have to be able to look it up and find it, or have somebody tell you about it and kind of introduce you to it.
Yeah. I don't even think I knew about the agencies until I got the Monumental, which was only like a couple years later. But still, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, that's different. Like that's interesting.
yep,
So that's even expanding upon just the team side of it, of how many different avenues and quite frankly, more financial avenues outside of the team side of it there as well.
right.
Yeah. No knock on the team side of it, anything, but but
Yeah,
but anyway, that's a little bit about when it comes to your career and your decision to move, speaking of the team side, your decision to move on from the team side and go into more of the consulting, the innovative side of the business. Was there like a fork in the road moment where you just had to ultimately make the decision? Was it a tough decision? Was it you could stay on the team side and go your career trajectory would be right to VP level, or taking that risk? What did that look like for you when you decided to switch over?
yeah. I think there was a fork in the road moment. I think a couple different times. So one, the decision to leave Cleveland and come to Houston. Like Texas was never on my radar for anything, but was able to get down here and kind of pursue that opportunity, which led to other opportunities I didn't pursue. But then also like when it came to the point of do I leave the Astros and go to this role with the mayor's office of innovation, the deciding factors were like I was ready to get some free time. Was ready for an increase in pay, but one also wanted the flexibility to kind of be able to bring in some new ideas that would kind of get some traction, kind of get some movement,
Mhm.
um, and be able to do that kind of on my own. Well, like and everything with the organization obviously has to go through the levels of approval with the directors and VPs and president and so on. But being able to do that through like my own company, it's like we get to make the decisions on who we work with, what
Mhm.
technologies we pursue, who we consult with, what we think is going to be like the next thing, and kind of be able to own that process. And that was
Yeah.
kind of the moment or the deciding factors. Was it easy or hard? I think it was. Once I made the decision, it was easy because it felt like the right thing to do. But like getting up to that point and kind of figuring out, yeah, do I step away from something that I had been in for like 10 or 11 years at that point and kind of go this unknown route? That was a little challenging, or kind of
Yeah.
being able to figure it out and kind of trust like that I was making the right decision I hope that I was making the right decision.
Yeah. I think when you get that uneasy feeling, well, at least for me, when I know I'm uneasy
Yeah.
about like a decision like that, when I look back on it, it's like, yeah, that was the right decision,
Yep.
because probably you are uneasy about it a little
Yeah.
bit. So you think about it a little bit more and you contemplate it a little bit more. But then
Yep.
like ultimately, that's the right decision, as opposed to, staying on that path that's easy and comes natural to you. Yeah. So I guess it's
Yeah.
called growth,
And
right?
yep. That's,
Yeah.
that is the key word. But yeah, and I think what I got to was like I can either stay here and kind of know what that path looks like, or I can kind of go and like the opportunity for something bigger, or what I anticipate would be bigger and better, was like on the other side. And I figured if I went that other side, I could always go back to what was the known piece. Like if I want to go back to another team somewhere, I could find that opportunity somewhere.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. That's actually previous chat I had with someone talking about always being able to go back to something that you're
Yeah.
used to because of whatever, and maybe it just didn't work out, or you just want to go back to it
Right.
and see what that path looks like. But being able to take that opportunity when it presents itself is the
Yep.
kind of natural thing to do, and take that leap of faith essentially. But knowing it's always
Right.
okay to go back if you need to. So yeah, I like that.
Yep.
And then finally, to close things out, our favorite question that we like to ask on here is, we call it like the shit you wish you knew question.
Okay. Yep.
Loosely translates to one piece of advice you wish you could tell your younger self, or someone, a student, or what have you, just starting out in their career.
Yeah. Was something I wish I could tell my younger self. What would that be? I think just be kind of more of what we just wrapped up that last question with, of like be willing to kind of step out on faith, or kind of be a little more adventurous and kind of pursue the thing that's top of mind, or the intuition that you're feeling, and kind of be willing to go for it.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. It's like it's a chance for growth and kind of to expand and expand yourself, I guess is where I want to go with that one. I think
Yeah.
that was something I was very hesitant to do early on. One, either felt like it was either felt like it was too much of a risk, or it was kind of counter to what parents, advisors, or whoever, whatever guidance I was getting at the time was
Mhm.
suggesting or recommending, and it was like opposite of that. So it was like I don't want to really kind
Yeah.
of push that too much, but I think I wish I would have done that a little bit more earlier on.
Yeah, for sure. I think the theme of our chat here is go with that uneasy feeling in your gut. Like your gut never steers
Yeah,
you wrong.
yep,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
All right. Well, thank you, Nate, for connecting with me today. And definitely want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Connect Over Coffee. If you want to listen to more chats like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. And don't forget to follow us on IG, Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn. Let's connect soon, guys.